January 2nd, 2013. San Francisco Public Library science fiction section around midday. Glass doors slide open. Federal agents stream in. A plain-clothed man sits under fluorescent lights, fingers resting on a laptop. The screen glows with lines of code, order pages, hidden service addresses. For a moment he glances up, startled, uncertain. As hands grab him, cuffs snap around his wrists, and a quiet, anonymous empire built in darkness is about to die in broad daylight. This is where it ends. And where it begins. Because the man in the spotlight isn't just a programmer caught with a laptop. He is far stranger, far darker. He is the invisible hand that moved millions in blood money. The architect of a digital underworld. The puppet master who never touched the strings. His name is Ross William Ulbricht. And to understand how a young idealist with a keyboard became the mastermind of the most infamous black market website in internet history, you need to rewind. You need to go back to a childhood in Texas, to libertarian philosophy books stacked on dorm room desks, to the moment when belief became obsession, and obsession became crime. March 27, 1984. Ross William Ulbricht enters the world in Austin, Texas. A city that will one day become a tech hub, but in the 80s is still more cowboy boots than coding boot camps. His childhood is unremarkable on the surface. Middle class, suburban, safe. But there's something different about Ross. While other kids play outside, he prefers solitude. Books, computers. He earns his Eagle Scout badge, a symbol of discipline, structure, idealistic purpose. His mind is sharp, analytical. He doesn't just want to understand how things work. He wants to understand why they work. He goes to the University of Texas at Dallas, studies physics, later material science and engineering. And what he concludes is this: people should be free, truly free. Free to choose, to trade, to live without the government watching over their shoulder. The internet, Ross believes, is not just a tool. It's a frontier, a digital Wild West where traditional power structures, the state, law, regulation can be circumvented, evaded, destroyed. He graduates, moves to Pennsylvania, works odd jobs, but his mind is elsewhere. He's reading forums about cryptography, learning about a new technology called Bitcoin, a digital currency that promises anonymity, untraceability, freedom from traditional banking surveillance. He's drawn to the dark corners of the internet, where people talk about encrypted networks, hidden services, the Tor browser that masks your identity behind layers of routing across global servers. And slowly, an idea begins to form. What if you could build a marketplace where anything could be bought or sold, removed from the constraints of geography, regulation, and identity? Early 2011. San Francisco, the capital of digital dreams. Ross has moved west, into the heart of libertarian tech circles and early cryptocurrency enthusiasts. He's living modestly, barely scraping by, but he's working on something that will change everything. He launches a website on the dark web. He names it Silk Road. It's not on the visible internet. You can't Google it. You can't stumble onto it by accident. Silk Road is a hidden service on the Tor network, meaning users connect anonymously, their identities masked by layers of encryption and routing. Payments are handled via Bitcoin. No credit cards, no bank transfers, no paper trail. From the beginning, Silk Road is built for a radical form of freedom. Vendors can list drugs, fake IDs, hacking tools, anything the buyer and the vendor can agree on. The site is advertised as a bastion of privacy and personal freedom, beyond the reach of law enforcement. Ross operates under an alias. He calls himself Dread Pirate Roberts, DPR, after the character from The Princess Bride who passes his identity from person to person like a mask. It's theatrical, mysterious, perfect. As DPR, Ross manages every aspect of operations. He administers the site, oversees security, maintains the Bitcoin payment escrow system, installs internal rules for vendors, Moderates feedback. Silk Road is not chaos. It is structure. A carefully engineered black market with customer service, dispute resolution, vendor ratings. It's Amazon for the illegal, eBay for the illicit. Orders begin trickling in. As news spreads in niche corners of the internet, Reddit threads, encrypted chat rooms, libertarian forums, Silk Road's reputation for reliability and anonymity grows. Vendors deliver. Buyers trust the escrow system. And Bitcoin's rising value makes transactions smooth, invisible, appealing. The marketplace hums quietly, a machine humming in the shadows. And Ross is making money, lots of it. Every transaction takes a commission. Every sale feeds the Bitcoin wallet. He's not just running a website, he's running an empire. Between 2011 and 2013, Silk Road explodes. It becomes the most extensive criminal marketplace on the dark web. Vendors sell narcotics ranging from marijuana to heroin, cocaine to prescription opioids, LSD to methamphetamine, fake passports, stolen credit card numbers, hacking tutorials, forged documents, even weapons, though Ross will later claim he banned those. The breadth of offerings, combined with the promise of anonymity, attracts thousands of users worldwide. Buyers in London,
Sellers in Amsterdam,
shipments crossing borders in padded envelopes, vacuum-sealed bags hidden in DVD cases, packages marked gift or books. Under Ross's leadership, the platform facilitates the sale of hundreds of kilograms of illegal drugs. Authorities will later estimate that Silk Road handled over $200 million in sales during its lifetime. Ross himself earns more than $13 million in commissions. His Bitcoin wallet swells. He's wealthy beyond his wildest dreams, at least on paper, in digital coins stored in encrypted files. But here's the thing, Ross never touches the drugs. He never handles the physical shipments. He never meets a buyer or a seller face-to-face. His fingerprints are nowhere except coded into the architecture of Silk Road. In the escrow system, the vendor review ratings, the public Tor-only marketplace carefully hidden from ordinary internet searches. He's a ghost, an idea, a username, and ghosts, Ross believes, can't be caught. With success comes consequences. Silk Road, once defended as a libertarian utopia, a marketplace of freedom, becomes a conduit for addiction, exploitation, and crime. People overdose. Families are destroyed. Lives spiral into chaos. Despite the idealistic rhetoric of privacy and autonomy, the reality is stark. Silk Road enables widespread drug trade, bypassing controls, regulation, age checks, medical oversight. A teenager in suburban Ohio can order fentanyl with a few clicks. A college student in Texas can buy MDMA without knowing its purity. An addict in Seattle can feed their habit without ever leaving their apartment. The anonymity that protects buyers and sellers also shields traffickers and predators. Every encrypted transaction, every hidden shipment, potentially carries harm. The marketplace's convenient detachment masks the human cost, addiction, loss, death, and despair. As Silk Road grows, so do the threats. Competitors try to hack the site. Blackmailers threaten to expose vendors. A former employee allegedly steals Bitcoin. And Ross, the libertarian idealist who believed in non-aggression, in voluntary exchange, begins to make darker choices. In early 2013, DPR communicates with someone he believes is a hitman. The messages, later recovered by federal agents, are chilling. Ross allegedly orders the murder of several people he perceives as threats to Silk Road. A former employee, a blackmailer, people who know too much. The hits, it will later be revealed, never actually happen. The hitman is an undercover agent. The photos of bodies are staged. But Ross doesn't know that. He pays for the murders, over $700,000 in Bitcoin. He reviews the fake evidence. He believes the killings are real, and he sleeps soundly. This is the line, the point where ideology curdles into monstrosity, where the quiet idealist becomes something unrecognizable. Ross Ulbricht is no longer just a programmer. He's ordering executions from behind a screen. Months later, an IRS investigator named Gary Alford and a Homeland Security agent named Jared Dryegian begin building a case. They trace the registration email, monitor network records under court orders, link Bitcoin flows, identify patterns. They discover that someone named Altoid posted about Silk Road in its early days, and that same username appears on other forums, sometimes with an email address. rossulbricht@gmail.com. It's a slip, a tiny crack in the facade, but it's enough. Meanwhile, the DEA and FBI are running their own investigations. They infiltrate the site as vendors and buyers. They track Bitcoin transactions. They analyze server logs. They build a profile of DPR, his schedule, his writing style, his habits. The net closes slowly but steadily. Every encrypted message, every hidden service access, every Bitcoin transaction is a thread. By mid-2013, agents have a name: Ross William Ulbricht. They have an address. They have surveillance. They know he's in San Francisco. They know he's still running the site. Now they just need to catch him with the evidence. October 1st, 2013. Glen Park Library, San Francisco. Not the main library. A smaller branch, quieter, less crowded. Ross sits in the science fiction section. His laptop is open. He's logged into Silk Road's master account as Dread Pirate Roberts. He's checking messages, monitoring transactions, managing the empire from a public computer terminal. Federal agents have been watching, waiting. They've coordinated the takedown meticulously. They need him logged in. They need the laptop open. They need the evidence live on the screen before he can encrypt it, delete it, destroy it. Agents swarm. Hands grab him. Cuffs snap around his wrists. His laptop is seized before he can close it, before he can hit a key, before he can activate the kill switch that would encrypt everything. Ross's house is searched. Agents recover a journal detailing the creation and operation of Silk Road. They find Bitcoin wallet files. They seize approximately 144,336 Bitcoins, worth around $28 million at the time, but eventually worth over $1 billion. The servers powering Silk Road are seized simultaneously. The hidden marketplace, once a sprawling global network, vanishes overnight. The site's homepage is replaced with a seizure notice. What had felt permanent, untraceable, untouchable, crumbles in an instant. The empire collapses not with violence but with silenced servers, seized asset and sealed evidence. February 2015. A federal courtroom in Manhattan. Ross William Ulbricht stands trial on 7 counts. Narcotics trafficking via the internet, money laundering, computer hacking conspiracy, and operating a continuing criminal enterprise. The so-called kingpin charge, usually reserved for drug cartel leaders. The prosecution's case is overwhelming. They present chat logs showing Ross as DPR, journal entries describing the creation of Silk Road, Bitcoin transactions linking him to the site's revenue, testimony from agents who infiltrated the marketplace, evidence of the alleged murder-for-hire plots. Ross's defense is simple. He created Silk Road, yes, but he handed it off to others. He wasn't running it when he was arrested. He was a scapegoat, not a kingpin. The jury doesn't buy it. After deliberating for less than 4 hours, they return a verdict. Guilty on all counts. She sentences Ross William Ulbricht to life in prison without the possibility of parole, plus forfeiture of approximately $183 million. Within months, new Darknet markets spring up. Alphabi, Hansa, Dream Market, Wall Street Market. They learn from Silk Road's mistakes. They refine its methods. They make it harder to trace, harder to infiltrate. For more than a decade, Ross Ulbricht lived inside concrete and steel, counting time in routines, in echoes, in years that could never be earned back. Sentenced in 2015 to die in prison, condemned to a punishment without parole. His story was meant to end behind bars, buried quietly beneath precedent and paperwork. But history does not always move in straight lines. On January 21, 2025, the sentence that once felt immovable dissolved with a single signature. A full and unconditional pardon. The gates opened. The corridors emptied behind him. After over 11 years in federal custody, Ross Ulbricht stepped out of prison. Not exonerated, not vindicated, but free. The world he entered was not the one he left. Silk Road was gone. Its successors had risen and fallen. The internet had evolved. Bitcoin had exploded. Empires had formed, collapsed, and reformed in his absence. His name, today, Ross Ulbricht, is no longer a prisoner of the United States. But his story remains unresolved. The prison gates opened, but the conversation didn't end. Ross Ulbricht is free, but the ripple he created still moves through the digital underground, reshaping markets, laws, and the idea of control itself. So now the question shifts to you. Did you ever use Silk Road? Drop a comment below. Subscribe for more deep dive narratives you won't hear anywhere else. And if you missed it, check out our previous video, the story of how a banker stole a secret from the world's richest families. This story didn't end. It just changed form.